The time is just gone 26 minutes past 8 as we continue this morning. We are now going across to India to speak to journalist and research scholar who is based in India. We're speaking with Aasif Mujtaba. Now, this comes against an Indian court that allowing a plea seeking Hindu prayers at the mosque in the Gyanvapi Mosque. And this is a Varanasi court that rejected a Muslim organization's plea challenging a request by Hindu women to pray in a masjid. And going straight across to be joined by Asif Mujtaba. Asif, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome.
Walaikum assalam, and thank you for inviting me for this important discussion.
Well, it is a very, very important discussion, and this whole question surrounding the practice of religion and respecting other religion, and we've seen it over and over playing out in India. Where Hindus obviously are now challenging Muslims in more ways than one, and this latest development talking about Hindu women wanting to pray in a masjid. What is the background to this, Asif?
Actually, there have been a lot of places, religious places in India, that Hindu group they claim to have been a temple, and now they say that they have been converted to mosque. So I think, in general, before establishment of modern democracies in India, there was a time when the king was law, and there have been many kingdoms that have ruled India over the period of almost like thousands of years. Every ruler had certain religious inclination, and because of his inclination, because of the maybe apathy towards other religion, there was trouble with religious places. For example, in 198 BC, there was a king called Pushpamitra Shunga, a Brahmin Hindu king. This king ordered demolitions of Buddhist temple in large numbers. So even now, we have thousands of Buddhist temples that have been converted to Hindu temples by the orders of that king. A similar kind of thing kept happening over thousands of years with the advent of the Muslims and especially the Muslims. So when we got independence in 1947, there were large number of religious places that people claim to be that there is a temple beneath, there is a Buddhist sanctuary beneath something. So in 1991, the Supreme Court, with the direction the government enacted a Places of Worship Act that clearly says that whatsoever is the religious test or the existence of structure at the advent of 1947 in the same year when we got independence, that structure would remain the same. So if there is a temple, it will remain a temple. If there's a mosque, it will remain a mosque. If there's a church or a synagogue, it will remain that. So no one will be allowed to file a petition because this is an unending process. There are thousands and thousands of religious places that people from other religion claim to have been demolished and then restructured and reconstructed and all. In that time, the court said one of the places called the Babri Masjid would be an exception. In 2019, in the month of August, the Supreme Court gave a very communal, Islamophobic, and I would say corrupt judgment in which the entirety of the Babri complex was given to the Hindu side to construct a temple. But Muslims were, they were thought that all the other places, since they are being protected by this act of the constitution, they will be safe. But shamelessly, this time, there is a temple, there is a place called Banaras, and there is a mosque called Gyanvapi. Gyanvapi Mosque shares a boundary with a temple. And the Hindu side have always been asking that this place was initially a temple, and then it was demolished by the Muslim rulers to establish a mosque. One thing should have been discussed by the Supreme Court, that Supreme Court should not have gone through the archaeological history of a place. Supreme Court should have simply said that there are thousands of places that people claim to be from other religions, but there is one act that the government of India passed in 1991 and we are not going into merit. But rather than this, the highest court, the apex court said that this act doesn't bar to determine the archaeological, the religious character of one structure. And that's why the lower court ordered that this place should be checked. And when they checked, they found a fountain there, just a fountain. And then B side claimed that this fountain used to be a like a temple place of Lord Shiva. And then the lower court gave a judgment in the favor. So something that is very troubling to entirety of the Muslim community in India is even the apex court is giving a very criminal and Islamophobic judgment, and that is worrisome. And this is not with the Babi, or not with the Gyanvapi. They have started claiming even, I would say, hundreds of mosque complexes in entirety of the country. So, and their modus operandi is same. They would try to bring a legal suit to a place, and by the time the court is there to hear, there would be a lot of hearing and decisions and all. They would demolish it in the meantime, and the court, rather than punishing the judges, they give a judgment in favor of these the Hindu side. So a very, I would say a toxic combination is brewing in India, and that is worrying the minority to a large extent. Yes.
Well, it certainly is a worrying situation, and from what you described, where you've got a law that actually protects. You spoke about the Places of Worship Act, and this went back right until the independence in 1947, and we know for the fact that during the Mughal rule in India, there were thousands and thousands of mosques that were actually built, and Muslims have been praying there for hundreds of years, and now to come back and to lay claim that this mosque was a temple, and again, we've seen what the BJP government has been doing over a period of time. There is absolutely no protection, even as far as the legal process is concerned, the judicial process is concerned, and
Yeah.
yeah, we are now talking about these lower
Actually,
courts.
actually,
And
actually, actually, this is not only related to a mosque. You see, there was a case in the Supreme Court related to hijab, right? And the Supreme Court judges were giving observation if the mass is not mandatory in Islam, how can hijab be? One of the state in India, they banned the use of hijab uh, in their any sort of educational institution. So it's not only related to the places of worship; it's also related to what you wear. So the state tries to, and this is only related to Muslims. So the clothes that Muslims are wearing, especially the hijab, it has been challenged for the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's observation so far, today is the sixth or seventh day of hearing, the observation so far is very critical of the Muslim community. It's also about the choices to eat. So beef has been banned. There has been hundreds of Muslims that were lynched in broad daylight. I would not say lynch, I would say murdered. They were murdered in the broad daylight just because they were caught with beef. Right. So this is also about just 2 days before there was a group of Muslims who were going to a religious place from one state to other. At one place, they just got their bus stopped for their prayers, and they were thrashed by the Hindu mob. Cases were filed, and I mean the penalty was imposed just for offering the namaz in the Gurgaon, a place near to Delhi. Very near to the capital. Muslims were not allowed to even offer namaz in the park. People are getting killed. Last month, a guy was killed in Karnataka on the suspicion of being a Muslim. Right. So this is not only related to mosque. This is also related to what you eat, what you wear. In the large number, Muslims' houses are getting demolished. So there is a large scale demolition drive that is going on the similar pattern that the Jews, the Zionist Israel is doing in Palestine. So if there is a contentious act or there is an Islamophobic act by the organs of the state, and when the Muslims protest, The state demolished their houses when there is a right where Muslim is the victim. Even then, the state demolishes the house. Just 7 days back, in one of the state called Bihar, in a place called Siwan, there was a large-scale anti-Muslim arson that took place. And ironically, all those who have been arrested are a Muslim, including an 80-year-old guy and an 8-year-old boy who has spent 5 days in prison to get released. Right. So this has to be seen in a complete picture. Our mosques are not safe. Our madrasas are not safe because in a state in Assam, they started bulldozing madrasas on the suspicion of they are teaching terrorist activities. I don't know what sort of thing they came up with. But our mosques are getting claimed. Supreme Court is not there to rescue. Our madrasas are getting bulldozed. The state is messing up with our right to wear. The state is messing up with our right to eat. The state is messing up with our right to practice, profess, and propagate our religion because we have an anti-conversion law that primarily targets the Muslims. We have a love jihad law that when a Hindu boy marries a Muslim woman, he is protected by the state. But when a Hindu girl marries a Muslim boy, the cases are slapped and the guy's house is demolished. So right from every aspect, from the economic perspective, Muslims are the backward. From the political aspect, we were initially marginalized. Now we have been irrelevantly invisibilized. It doesn't matter which part of the India you are from. The Muslims don't have a voice here. So mosque, madrasas, right to wear, right to eat, right to practice, right to process, everything has been messed up. And that's why the situation is worrisome because even the apex court, the Supreme Court, is not giving a judgment that should uphold these values of the Indian Constitution. Yes.
Yes, Asif, I'm going to just put you on hold. I want to just engage with you for a few more minutes. I'm going to go for a quick break. We're going to play out a few adverts, and I'll be back with you.
Definitely.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Over 33 million people have been affected by the devastating floods in Pakistan. Homes have been destroyed, crops have been swept away, and roads have been damaged. Families are mourning their loved ones while trying to survive these horrific conditions. Penny Appeal is on the ground now, delivering food, shelter, medical supplies, and water to those in need. You can help save a life by donating today. Visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference.
I lived in Canada for 20 years, and the crazy thing is this hijab thing came up. Women were dictated and they were forced to take it off. You have to wear this, is that not violating humans' rights?
Salam Media, in collaboration with the South African National Muslim Women's Forum, are hosting Afghan humanitarian and women empowerment activist Nadima in South Africa.
Why is somebody here that is telling me that please wear appropriate clothes because we're not yet in a stable state and people are not used to this style?
Nadima will be touring South Africa for 2 weeks in September.
And I know a lot of people are not going to like what I'm saying because a lot of my friends blocked me because they're saying that I am not speaking the truth. But honest to God, this is my truth.
Join us on a riveting journey through the eyes of an African sister.
For more information, contact Miriam Mia on 082 956 7464 on 082 956 7464 or Hawa Patel on 082 920 0773 082 920 0773.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
At 8:42 a.m., we continue our discussion this morning with journalist and research scholar based in India, Aasif Mujtaba, against the background of an Indian court allowing Hindu women to pray in a mosque. Aasif, just to continue, and all that we have been discussing tells us very, very clearly that the Hindutva project of the BJP is hell bent on making life as difficult as possible for Muslims in each and every way, where each and every aspect of Muslim life is going to come under scrutiny, whether it is our belief system, whether it is our mosque. And we've also seen disastrous consequences. We've seen, like for instance, not very long ago, the Bilkis Banu case, and where all those rapists were actually released. So the Modi government agenda is very, very clear for the whole of India, with a specific focus on dehumanizing Muslims, Muslim women, our belief system, and in every aspect of Muslim life.
Mhm.
Asif, are you with us?
Yes, yes, I'm there. I would say it has to be seen in a complex way, as I was saying earlier, right? And there is no way out that seems possible now, because see, this is a liberal democracy. And in a liberal democracy, power lies with the people. But the current Hindutva government at the center, they have messed up with this, that they are actually buying MLAs. So it doesn't matter which political party you vote to or which political party wins. These people at the center, because they have amassed huge wealth with supporting corporates. So India is signing off the debts of thousands of crores for these big elite businessmen, despite our economic conditions getting worse day by day. And with this money that they're getting, they're horse trading MLAs, they're buying these representatives of the people. So I would say, from the perspective of legislatures, there's no way out that seems possible. From the perspective of judiciary, because even the highest court is not giving a judgment that they should give, upholding the basic spirit enshrined in the constitution. They should have acted in a most secular way, but they are acting in a criminal way. Every judgment of them should, should depict the inclusivity, should depict the integrity, should depict the broadness of acceptance, but that is not being shown. So there is very less hope from the judiciary, even from the apex court, from the Supreme Court. From the perspective of executive, Muslims are, they are made to pay for everything they have not done even. So even if the state comes with a repressive act, like we have seen in the past called Citizenship Amendment Act, and Muslims not happy with their citizenship right being snatched, or not happy being excluded from the list of the oppressed minorities, when they protest, the state has a brutal crackdown, and these Muslims are, shot in the chest, they die, and even after the death, their houses are getting demolished. Right. So this current Hindutva project is not only troubling Muslims, actually, I would say they are troubling the Christians of the country in a similar fashion. this is high time we should also talk about the attacks that is going on with Christians in the country. There have been thousands and thousands of incidents wherein these Hindutva groups are barging into these churches and they are misbehaving and crashing the peace. This Hindutva government is not also doing the justice for the Dalits. So a large section of the society is like, I mean, it's demeaned or dehumanized just because of their caste. So be it a Muslim, be it a Christian, be it a Dalit that is occupying the lowest strata in their caste system, or be it other tribe marginalized group like tribal people. I have been talking to a lot of tribal people for now. Even they have been much troubled because the state is hand in hand with the corporates and they are snatching away their right of the land. So if you see this Hindutva project altogether, so every marginalized group, every minority section have been greatly troubled. And that is worrisome because even the apex court is not coming forward to uphold. So there was a time some 15, 20 years back when there was a term called judicial activism. Judicial activism was an instant when the court of the day came forward actively, even no one approaching them, came forward actively to uphold the values in the constitution. But the courts are, I mean, from the judicial activism, now they have switched to judicial dormantism and they're dormant. Even the highest order of the breach of human values, even at incidents of a gross violation of human rights, the courts are silent. And at times they're not even silent, they are giving a judgment in the favor of the oppressor, they are giving a judgment in the favor of the majoritarian Hindutva. So a journalist has to spend 2 years in jail just because he was a Muslim. There is another journalist from Kashmir who is in jail for almost more than 3.5 years now, called Aasif Sultan. So this is happening. Muslim journalists are getting jailed. A lot of Muslim activists who protested for anti-CA, they are in jail for more than 2 years now. Muslim women are snatched away the right of using hijab. Muslim men, they criminalize the triple talaq, right? So from all the perspective of being a Muslim or a minority, this Hindutva project is troubling them all. And that is the worrying point, I would say. Yes.
Well, Asif, Jazakallah for that and taking time out talking to us this morning, yeah, on Salam Media and unpacking these developments with us here on Salam Media. We continue praying we will continue making dua as well that Allah, grant you safety. Allah grant the Muslims and also all those who are being oppressed. And the key issue at the end of the day, we make dua that justice will be served. But for now, we thank you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Aasif Mujtaba joining us out of India this morning. We're going to go for a break. We come back. We'll be joined by Mohammed Batman Ismail.